Game time. Welcome, Amber.
Hi.
Son of a bitch, I was not wanting to do this. I'm not going to lie. This was something that, I didn't see coming. But, you've been such a professional with us in not only how you've been an agent with our group, but just the impact that you've had. You've been an amazing friend. And as much as this hurts, we're excited. We're excited to give you the opportunity to do a couple of things. One, just talk about your experience with us. You've been with us for 5 years. You've been an awesome part of our group. I know that you've impacted a lot of people in our group's business in positive ways, me included. So I'd love to talk to you a little bit about kind of just your experience with EXP and CRG, but then also, if you paid any attention, if you already know Amber, you probably saw some of her marketing yesterday. She's made a big move to a new brokerage, and we're going to talk about that as well. So we're going to talk about a couple things. This isn't an official exit interview, right? This is something that I asked Amber to be just, which I don't need to ask her to, but just be honest. Be honest with everything that you felt and that you've heard and that about both of your experiences and all that good stuff, because I think people can benefit from what you have to say. So as much as this hurts, welcome, Amber, to your exit interview.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I appreciate you doing this. I know you're busy. How's your day
It's
treating you so far?
great. It's been a good
Yeah.
day.
Been a good
Yeah.
day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good day. Good day. Sun shining. I can't complain.
Right. I mean, that's what we got to look for, right? It's just all the good stuff in every day. And, today, again, just like I said before, you've been with us for 5 years. You emerged as a leader within the group. When you talked, people would listen, and people have benefited you. So, just from your perspective, looking back at your 5 years, what are some of the highlights of your experience with our group, CRG?
Definitely the friendships that I've made, for sure. Some of the best people I know I met from all of you guys. So the people, the support, I've always had really good support with you guys. There's never a complaint there. Just really good, genuine people. And I think that makes a big difference when you're in an industry that you can feel kind of alone sometimes. To be around people every week that are always supporting each other and sharing ideas is important. And I think if you don't have it, you should find it somewhere, like, yeah, it makes a big
Agreed.
difference, especially in your self-esteem and your confidence when you constantly have people. If you make a mistake, you can say, hey, I've made a big mistake. I need help fixing it, and no judgment, and just help fix it.
And people that genuinely care, right? I mean, I think you told me that you picked up the phone a couple of times before you actually called me to tell me that you were leaving. I mean, that says a lot. That means a lot to me that it was hard for you to tell me,
Yeah,
because that means
yeah,
a
it
lot.
was a hard call. My husband's always like, "Have you called? Have you called Riddle yet?" I'm like, "No, I haven't. I tried, but I didn't. I'm gonna do it tomorrow." And then, yeah,
And I said, good. I said, I'm glad it hurts.
yeah,
I'm glad, because if it didn't hurt, that means I didn't do my job. That means we didn't build a special relationship, or that we didn't have a great partnership.
yeah.
And change is not easy,
No,
right? I mean, if anybody that's made any type of significant change in their life, when you even hear the word change, a lot of times people just kind of get kind
like,
of
no,
cooped
thanks.
up. Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah. So I have so much respect for you for taking a risk, trying something new, right? Because you're obviously incredibly successful in real estate, and now you're trying on something new, and so we respect that. We're gonna miss you, right? I mean, as much as you miss the friendships, I know a lot of people are gonna miss you too. They've come to know you well, support you. And it's not like you're going and moving away. I mean, you're just gonna be at a different brokerage, but things do change a little bit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, things are gonna, you're not gonna want to come to our team events and stuff like that, our group events anymore. It's just gonna
Yeah,
change.
you
So
haven't invited me yet. I don't. You don't want to. Don't rule me
that's true.
out if you invite me to come.
I will invite you. Hell yeah, you're always welcome. I mean, that's another reason I really wanted to do this too, is because this type of thing in real estate, or any business partnership, is always hard, right? When someone becomes a business partner and they become a friend, and then that's no longer the business partner side goes away. The friendship always remains. We know that. We've been in real estate long enough to value that. But the business partnership is what helps the friendship too. And when that goes a different direction, a lot of people can be upset, can take it personally, and for lack of a better phrase, burn that bridge. And that's not what we're about. I obviously want you to be incredibly successful in any direction that you go. Selfishly, I would love for you to come back, but that's not about me. It's about you. And so I want to show people that, like, anyone that joins our group and decides to take something on, we still respect you. We still support you. Have you felt any type of a difference of experience from us since you made the announcement that you were leaving?
No, everyone was really great. I called, yeah, I haven't made phone calls to everybody yet. I still have every intention of doing that. But I want to make sure I have the time to talk on the phone. I don't want to be rushed and only like, I have 5 minutes to chat real quick. I want to be able to have a conversation. So that's the only reason why some phone calls haven't been made yet. But no, everyone was super supportive and nice and told me, good for you. This is so exciting, and that meant a lot to me because I kept telling myself, if they're not happy, then I was almost I was almost just as afraid of you not being supportive, because then I was like, then I'm going to have to be faced with that it wasn't as real as I thought it was. And that scared me too, because I didn't, if that was how I got approached, if that was the feedback that I got, I would have been really sad. So yeah,
Yeah,
it meant a lot
yeah.
that
No,
everybody
I
was
hear
nice.
you. Right. I'm glad you brought that up. I've always had this kind of mindset of, like, you truly learn what people are about when things go wrong.
Yeah,
That's when you see someone's true colors, and when adversity hits them, right?
yeah.
When things are tough and not going their way. So of course it hurt, right? And I was going to let you know it's hurt. Now, I don't want to make you feel guilty. It was not.
No,
It was
I
not trying
know.
to make you feel guilty. It was just more like, listen, like, I really, really respected and appreciated the friendship and the business partnership that we've had the last 5 years. I know that you've had a huge impact on my business and how I approach my business, and I can't thank you enough. And I know that you trusted CRG early when we were little, and you came in successful and with energy, and that just added credibility to our group, right? That just added so much to our group, and we had someone like you that came in and trusted us with your business and your brand, and and was a part of it, and a complete bought in part of it for the last 5 years. I mean, it's not like you came in and then disappeared. I mean, you were a huge part of the group, and of course, it had to be something amazing
Yeah.
to draw you away from us. It
Yeah.
better be something amazing to
Yeah.
draw you away from us, and I have no doubt. So that being said, you're moving on.
Yeah.
Who are you with now?
Sirhand.
Sirhan.
Yeah.
And what can you tell? So, what excites you most about this new chapter working with Sirhan?
Mostly the just exposure to luxury that I didn't have before. And there, the technology and the marketing that goes behind the brand is also very important. There is a big piece of that. And if anybody who knows me knows that, marketing is kind of my thing, and I get really excited about it. And I like it when, and I'm kind of terrified of AI, and they have a lot of AI, a lot of stuff in their program for that. So I'm going to learn it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm not going to get taken over by a robot. I'm going to use it to my advantage. And yeah, just really try to hit the luxury market in ways that I just didn't have before.
And you earned your way there. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I kind of felt like it's almost like you're graduating in a way,
Yeah.
right? Like, because this opportunity wasn't just presented to anybody, right? They were picky about who. I believe they chose 50 agents in Arizona.
Yeah, they chose about 50 people to launch the brand here in Arizona. So it's the first Western state to get a Sirhan. They have several states back east, but there's nothing west. So Arizona's the first Western state, and they are opening up small. I don't think they're going to get it. I don't think it's going to grow very big. Here, they're not looking to have a ton of agents. They just want very good quality agents, and so they were careful of their selection for sure.
Yeah, yeah, huge compliment. I mean, right? You know what? It's funny because so many people in this business complain about being recruited,
Yeah.
right? And I never had a problem with being recruited. If you call me up with an opportunity, why would I not say, sure, I'll listen. I almost didn't listen to EXP, right? And thank God for someone that was very consistent, in introducing it to me. I finally listened and it changed my life. And so kind of the same for you. It's like, one, it feels good to be recruited, right? It should not be an insult. If someone's calling you directly and they just know a little bit about your business, not those little spammy texts that they just send to all the realtors, all that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like when someone calls you up and says, "Hey, listen, I've been looking around in the area, or I know you, I know how you run your business, and I have an opportunity for you." Um, I'm sure you
That's
weren't
definitely
looking
what
for it.
happened. I didn't
Yeah,
seek it out. Yeah, I didn't seek out the change. It was brought to me.
it was brought to you. Yeah, compliment. And like I said, our group is for agents per part, full time, but sometimes they do go off to other things. And I've seen your growth, and that's another benefit of the partnership is just to see how you started to polish all your different parts of your business and
Mhm.
just make them better consistently, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, here comes this opportunity, and you welcome it with open arms, and I love that. And so, um, how do you kind of see this move kind of aligning with your long-term goals in real estate?
Um, just really getting into my depth of knowledge of real estate and all facets of it. I just all parts of the valley too. Just get to know the ins and outs of things, being able to network with even more agents. And I think that's really important too. I think our reputation within the industry is incredibly important. I think playing nice with others is very important. And just having a well respected brand with your reputation is incredibly important.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that doesn't, wherever your license is hung, doesn't mean anything if you're a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, in your case, it means a little something, right? But you still have to be great, right? That
Mhm.
that name on your card, that name on your sign, aside from yours, the name of your brokerage, we know this. The brokerage doesn't make the agent. Yes, sure, it's going to be, it's a big name, it's exciting. People recognize that. There's brand recognition there. I understand that part,
Right.
right? But you still have to go in there with confidence and win those people over. And so I think I'm glad that you recognize that. I think most agents should know that. I think that applies to every brokerage that you go with. I have never been in the industry, and anytime I'm not having success, I've never blamed the brokerage.
No, yeah, yeah, your success and whether or not you're successful or not is up to you for sure. I think that certain brands can help expose you to things better than others, or put you in rooms that you didn't know that you didn't weren't in before. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for getting yourself there, and you're responsible for your own success always. And you're responsible for your reactions. You're responsible for everything you do in your life.
And so I totally agree. I think most agents should agree. I think you and I both talked to a number of agents that don't quite believe that yet or understand that yet. But I think more of the seasoned agents that realize like, hey, we've survived a number of different housing market trends.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen balanced markets, we've seen crazy sellers markets. I mean, unprecedented sellers markets. Back to a buyer's market, back to a balanced market, back to a buyer's market. I mean, we've seen it all, right? And so if we're relying on a little name, that's not going to be enough. It's up to us to be on top of things. And what do you say you focus on and in regards to what makes you a little bit different from some of the other agents out there? What do you think one or two things that might separate you from other realtors?
I would say that the relationships that I develop with people in general is what sets me apart. I also I try really hard to follow up. I try really hard to make sure that people know that they matter to me. If I'm doing business with them, I really do care about what they're going through. I really do care about their situation. Sometimes moving is not exciting for them. Sometimes it is not for happy things. And the compassion that I feel like I really make an effort to be empathetic to whatever they're going through and show them that I care. Yeah, that's really important. And also being a good cross agent, seeing that the whole transaction everyone wins if we close the deal. You have a seller who wants to sell, you have a buyer who wants to buy. The agent's job isn't to get in the way of that. It's to make sure that they advocate well for their clients and educate their clients, but also work through the transaction in a professional manner so the job gets done. There's a ton of hard conversations that have to happen often, and you just have to keep doing it.
And you do, and I agree with you. It makes the biggest difference, right? Some agents might say, "Oh, I care." They don't.
Yeah.
Some agents on the cross side say, "Oh, I focus on cross agents." They don't. I can tell you, you do, Amber. I mean, I've seen it. I've experienced it. You and I have done deals together.
Mm-hmm.
You've represented buyers, I've represented sellers, I've represented sellers, and you've represented buyers, and vice versa. So I've worked with you, and I've been alongside you, and I've seen how you work and how you approach your business. And what you're saying is the truth, and it makes a difference. It really does make a difference.
Yeah.
It can be, real estate transactions can happen, and they can be rough or smooth.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's out of our control as realtors, but a lot of times it's in our control on whether it goes rough or smooth. And an agent that can go out there and handle the cross agent well,
Mm-hmm.
advocate for their client, but keeping it an enjoyable process. There's a big difference there. I've had realtors that I've worked with personally that have, well, yeah, they fought for their client, but they're such big jerks and they're so disrespectful that it backs us and my clients into such a corner. We don't want to work with you.
Yeah. Well, and
Right?
especially if you have a big repair that comes up, because you're like, listen, something's come up. This is a big deal, and we want to work through it. However, this isn't a problem that's going to go away with us, and we need to work through it because my client still wants to buy, or if you have a seller that a situation has come up with their house and there's a big repair that comes up, how you react to that is literally can make or break the deal. And you do not want to break the deal for your clients because you had an ego. That's just not a good thing. And I'd never want someone to be like, you cost me my transaction. You cost me the sale of my home. I never, or, you lost my dream home for me because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. I never want that
And
to
that's
be.
what's at stake though for us, right? I think that people that are not in our industry don't quite understand the pressure,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah,
mean,
there's a lot of lost sleep. There's a lot of going to bed thinking about something, and you open your eyes in the morning, you're like, damn it, I'm still thinking about this.
first thing that hits your mind,
I
right?
don't
You
think I
wake up,
slept well last night.
you don't even open your eyes, and you're like, "Oh, this is going on."
It's still
And these are
there. It's
people's
still there. It
lives,
didn't go away.
And I think it's hard. I think it's harder for the realtors that care.
Yeah.
The realtors that are in it for the right reasons. I believe the majority of realtors are in it for the right reasons, not all of them, and we've all run across the ones that aren't. And I don't think they last too long, or most of them don't. But the ones that are in it that really care, I think it's important that our clients know that we wear it.
Yeah.
Like we embody the pressure and the stress as well with you, and we ride that wave with you. We might not always express ourselves in the same way because we're solutions oriented, right? We want
Well,
to
and our
come with
job is to
answers.
make sure they don't feel that stress, right?
Yes,
So
yes. I always
your
kind of look at it as like,
client should
how
never
like
think that
islands
you're
and stuff
stressed
like
out.
that will have the barrier out past the beach to kind of break up the waves.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we are as realtors. We kind of break up the waves, and
Yeah.
when our clients hear issues, generally we're coming with solutions. And I know you're the same way.
Yeah.
I know you're the same way. And I don't want to rattle on too long about all this stuff because we could talk for hours. We've talked for hours.
Yeah.
But I do want to get back to just kind of what the point of this was, and the point of this is just how exciting we are for you.
Thanks.
For your new opportunity. It's going to be fun to watch from a distance, right? And maybe we'll run into a luxury dealer. I'd love to do a luxury deal, and I'd love to have you as a cross agent, because I know you
Yeah.
fight for your clients, but I also know that you're a pleasure to work with. And I do have a couple closing thoughts. Got a couple just little questions here, and just we're going to rattle them off as we end. And this is just for anybody that just some of your final thoughts, really. What advice would you give to agents that are kind of looking for support and that might consider a group like CRG?
Oh, I would encourage people to do it for sure. Find somewhere that you can trust the people who you're working with, because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to put yourself in a situation that you wish you weren't in, and you need to trust the person on the other side, like whoever is backing you up, to genuinely help you and your client get through it. I think that's very important. And to make good friends and in the industry, I think it's important. There's more to just business. You need to have some good friendships too.
Amen. And I think when you said I still have people to call, right?
Yeah.
And some might think that's like a burden. And kind of is. It's not comfortable. Some might think it's a burden. But I think about the last two brokerages that I left before I came to EXP, and guess what? I had nobody to call.
Yeah.
I had nobody that I needed to tell. I didn't have relationships. I
Yeah.
did not. Right. Like and I think that's what's so crazy, the difference that this is. And I think that as people, we're supposed to lean on people. So if you're not doing that, you're at a great disadvantage,
Yeah.
especially in this business. And so,
And your mental
I
health
think,
needs it too.
yeah,
You have to know that you can have someone to call and pick up the phone, even if you're having a bad day. I mean, how many times have you and I picked up the phone and, it's like, hey, do you have a minute?
yeah,
I'm upset. Like I need to have someone to talk to, and
yeah,
that's where those friendships, just they don't go away when the brokerage changes. There's no way that the friendships that I've created through this group will go away, not on my end, unless I'm told to go away. But
yeah.
I would still always, I just hope that those friendships stay.
They won't. You're a genuine person, right? And that goes a long way with people. Being genuine is everything, in my opinion. And you are a genuine person. So that's why the relationships that you've created will last.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of what we did in our group really didn't benefit. Like a lot of the stuff that you did to help the group really didn't benefit you financially. It benefited you spiritually.
Yeah.
It benefited you as an agent. I believe when you teach, you learn and you become better. So you did a lot of that, but it wasn't really any financial benefit for you. You were just there to just give your knowledge and build those relationships.
Yeah. No, I really didn't. That wasn't what I was ever in it for, though. I told you that from the very beginning. I wanted the support. I wanted to be able to provide support. I wanted to be able to share ideas. I feel like you, as a person, you grow. The more you share, the more you challenge yourself, because you're like, well, God, I can't tell them the same thing that I told them last time. I got to think of something new. And so it forces you to always, innovate and be creative and use your brain in ways that you would normally see. So even though like monetarily, I didn't get money in my bank account per se right from those things, but it made me a better person. It made me a better agent. And in return, that makes your business more successful. So people always kind of look in tunnel vision of what is worth their time. And I don't look at it that way. I don't feel like anything is a waste of time. You either succeeded or you learned and you just move forward. But
And just being yourself, who said you didn't want to, like, a lot of people talk about ESP and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's part of what we do. You told me you never wanted to do it, but then just back being a naturally great agent and supportive, you did bring over some agents that did learn a lot from you, right? That while you are leaving are still here. And we made sure to say, hey, listen, I know it's tough to lose Amber, but we're still here for you, And so, yeah, those relationships were genuine enough to have people come over and want to join you directly. So that says a lot about your character, and of course we want this all to work out for you, right? We want it all to be the answer for you. But if for some small reason it doesn't work out, would you ever consider coming back?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Biggest compliment we can receive, right? We don't want her to come back. We want her to go and we want her to achieve all the things that she wants to achieve. We want that. But if it just isn't everything she thought it would be, or maybe she realizes she can do something else, I don't know. I think the biggest compliment that we can receive is that, you know what, I would consider you again.
Yeah.
Right.
I have nothing but good things to say. There was never a problem. It's not like I was unhappy. It's not like and anybody who's ever talked to me about coming over, they all know that I love where I work. I've told everyone that, so it definitely wasn't because something went wrong or, I didn't like it. That was never it.
Yeah. And I never felt
Just,
that way.
like, hey, this is, I think Sirhan might be coming. If they did, would you want to meet with them? And was like, yeah, I would. And then it just kind of snowballed into all of a sudden they're here and it's time to move your license. And you're like, wow, I gotta make some calls.
And kudos to you. Like everybody watching this, if you've made it this far, awesome. If anybody's still watching this interview, good on you. We're 25 minutes in and there's been some gold here, but just let that lesson be true. Listen for opportunities. It's kind of relevant. I just in the middle of the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Have you read that book?
I would like to. Well, I'm out of the other one you told me to read, the Think, Do, Say.
That's good. Oh, you're on that one right now?
I finished it, just barely.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, it was good.
right? Talks about being genuine, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
avoid the old pitch slapping people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Who Moved My Cheese was just talking about change. It's really cool. It's a little 2-hour book, right? And I've heard so many people bring it up. I'm like, I'm going to listen to it. And it's just really talking about basically the whole story in a nutshell is how do you adapt to change and fear, and do you let fear stop you from making change? Do you let being comfortable stop you from making change? And I'm not through the book, so that's where I'm at. But it sounds like you shouldn't. So but so I applaud you for making this adjustment. And again, selfishly, gonna miss you terribly. Selfishly, and to the group selfishly, we're gonna miss you terribly. Last question for you. How can we support you in moving over this next role? And what should people be looking out for you as you move on to this next role?
Just keep being my friend. Just that's all I ask for. Just like and comment on things, maybe so I know you're still there. Uh, Hopefully, I'll see you guys still in person, and that's what's most important to me is making sure that the relationships stay. And just I'm super excited about what I'm going to be doing. I don't even know exactly what I'm going to be doing, but I know it's going to be great, and I'm super excited. I'm really am going into this incredibly open-minded with all in, just like I do everything in my life, and I'm really excited to see what happens and where I go. So
Well, we're excited for you, Amber, and I just want to again thank you for being such a great partner, and thank you for really all of it, just everything that you've done for the group, for myself, my business. I know it's different because of you. I'm not too proud to say that. I'll fully admit that multiple times, clearly. And thank you for the maturity of exiting and leaving us the right way, right? I think again that goes a long way. And people are going to miss you, but we're going to support the hell out of you. And you're going to make an incredible luxury agent. We know that, right? You've dabbled there, and now you're going
yeah,
hard at it, and so it's exciting to see.
I've had several. It's just a matter of just really, and I don't want anyone to think that's watching this that I don't do regular residential real
Yeah.
estate, because I absolutely do. I'm not just only going to do that. It's just something that will help me grow into a more knowledgeable agent, and I never want to stop growing. So that's where I'm at.
Well, knowledge is power in this business, and you got a lot of it, and you're keeping it, and you're heading in the right direction, Amber. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. We appreciate you. The group appreciates you. We'll miss you, but we wish you nothing but the best.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.